The world is loud. Everywhere you turn, someone is talking, explaining, proving, defending, arguing, showing off their achievements, begging for validation, chasing attention like oxygen. Social media has trained people to announce every move before the move even matters. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. But the strange truth that few people understand is this: the strongest people are often the quietest people in the room. The most dangerous mind is not the one shouting. It is the one observing. The person who moves in silence carries a power the noisy world cannot understand. And today, you are going to understand why silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is discipline. Silence is psychological warfare. Silence is self-control. And according to Carl Jung and the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, silence may be one of the greatest hidden success strategies ever discovered. There is something terrifying about a person who no longer feels the need to explain themselves. Most people speak because they are afraid. Afraid of being misunderstood. Afraid of being ignored. Afraid of being forgotten. But when you become comfortable with silence, something changes inside you. Your energy stops leaking. Your focus sharpens. Your emotions settle. You stop chasing approval from people who are never going to understand your vision anyway. And suddenly, while everyone else is distracted trying to look successful, you quietly become successful. This is why silent people often shock the world. Nobody sees the transformation happening in the dark. Nobody notices the discipline being built behind closed doors. Nobody understands the pressure being survived in private. Until one day, the results speak so loudly that explanations become unnecessary. Most people destroy their dreams by talking too much about them. The moment they get an idea, they announce it to everyone. They seek applause before effort. They want recognition before sacrifice. But Jung understood something powerful about human psychology. The unconscious mind protects what is sacred. The moment you expose your deepest ambitions to too many opinions, doubts begin to enter your spirit. People project their fears onto you. Their insecurities become noise in your head. Their skepticism weakens your momentum. And slowly, the fire inside you fades before it ever had the chance to grow. This is why silence matters. Silence protects your vision while it is still fragile. The Stoics believe that energy must be guarded carefully. Every emotional reaction drains power. Every unnecessary argument steals peace. Every attempt to prove yourself to people is a tax on your spirit. Think about how much time people waste trying to convince others they matter. Trying to look important. Trying to defend every insult. Trying to answer every criticism. Meanwhile, the truly disciplined person stays focused. They understand that time is life itself. And life is too precious to waste on meaningless noise. The silent person wins because they are not distracted by performance. They are consumed by purpose. You must understand something most people learn too late. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone deserves access to your plans. Some people secretly hope you fail. Some people smile in your face while praying your dreams collapse. And others simply cannot understand the path you are walking because they have already surrendered their own ambitions. Jung warned about projection. People project their darkness onto others constantly. Their fear becomes your limitation if you absorb it. Their bitterness becomes your poison if you listen too closely. That is why silence is protection. Silence keeps your soul untouched by the chaos of insecure minds. There comes a moment in life when you realize talking about success feels better than actually working for success. That is the trap. Many people become addicted to appearing ambitious instead of becoming disciplined. They confuse attention with achievement. They confuse visibility with progress. But the universe rewards execution, not announcements. The Stoics taught that virtue lives in action, not performance. And that means your real power grows in private. In those lonely mornings nobody sees. In those painful nights where you keep going even when motivation disappears. In those moments where you choose discipline over comfort, while the rest of the world sleeps. Silence changes your relationship with emotions. When you stop reacting to everything, you become harder to control. Think about how easily people manipulate emotional individuals. One insult ruins their entire day. One rejection destroys their confidence. One criticism makes them question themselves completely. But silence creates emotional distance. You begin observing life instead of immediately reacting to it. And in that space between event and reaction, power is born. The Stoics mastered this. They understood that peace comes from controlling yourself, not controlling the world. A silent mind becomes difficult to disturb. There is also something deeply magnetic about silence. People reveal themselves around quiet individuals. When you speak less, you notice more. You begin seeing patterns in human behavior. You notice fake confidence hiding insecurity. You notice forced smiles hiding pain. You notice manipulation, jealousy, desperation, ego. The world becomes clearer because your mind is no longer crowded with the need to constantly speak. Jung believed that awareness is the beginning of transformation. And awareness grows in silence. Not in noise. Not in endless distraction. Silence allows you to hear truths that chaos keeps hidden. Some of the greatest transformations happen when nobody is clapping for you. That is the test of real character. Can you continue improving without validation? Can you continue building when nobody believes in you? Can you remain disciplined when nobody is watching? Most people cannot. They need applause to continue. They need attention to feel valuable. But true strength is built in invisibility. The silent warrior does not need an audience. Their purpose is enough. Their vision is enough. Their standards are enough. And because they are no longer dependent on external approval, they become unstoppable. One of the most painful lessons in life is realizing that talking less saves you from unnecessary suffering. The more people know about your life, the more opinions they inject into your journey. Suddenly everyone becomes a critic. Everyone becomes an advisor. Everyone becomes an expert on your dreams. And if you are not careful, you begin living according to their expectations instead of your own truth. Jung believed individuality requires separation from the collective mind. You cannot become who you truly are if you constantly seek permission from the crowd. Silence helps you reconnect with your authentic self. There is a reason powerful people often move quietly. Real confidence does not need constant advertisement. Insecure people seek attention because they are trying to convince themselves they matter. But someone who truly knows their value does not feel the need to prove it every hour. The lion does not announce itself before entering the jungle. Its presence alone changes the atmosphere. And when you begin mastering silence, your presence changes too. People sense depth in you, calmness in you, control in you. You stop looking desperate for recognition, and ironically, that is when people begin respecting you more. Many people fear silence because silence forces them to confront themselves. Noise becomes an escape from self-awareness. Endless scrolling. Endless conversations. Endless distractions. Anything to avoid sitting alone with their thoughts. But Jung believed the shadow must be faced. Your fears, insecurities, weaknesses, anger, loneliness, all of it must be acknowledged if you want to grow. Silence becomes the mirror. And yes, it is uncomfortable at first. Extremely uncomfortable. But inside that discomfort is transformation. Because once you stop running from yourself, you begin rebuilding yourself. The world constantly teaches people to react immediately. Respond instantly. Defend yourself instantly. Fight back instantly. But the Stoics taught the opposite. Pause. Observe. Reflect. Most battles are not worth your peace. Most arguments are not worth your energy. Most provocations are simply tests of emotional discipline. The person who controls their reactions controls their destiny. And silence becomes a weapon. Not because you are weak, but because you refuse to let temporary emotions destroy long-term goals. Sometimes silence is not about secrecy. Sometimes silence is healing. There are wounds words cannot fix. There are seasons of life where you must disappear for a while and rebuild your soul quietly. People may misunderstand your distance. Let them. People may assume you changed. Maybe you did. Growth often looks like withdrawal before expansion. A seed disappears underground before becoming a tree. And many of the strongest people you admire went through seasons where they vanished from the world just to rediscover themselves. Pay attention to how society rewards noise but remembers results. People may laugh while you are silent. They may underestimate you because you are not constantly advertising yourself. But results erase doubt. Results silence critics. Results create respect. And when your success finally becomes visible, people will call it sudden. They will never understand the years of invisible discipline behind it. They will never understand the sacrifices, the loneliness, the restraint, the emotional control. They only see the victory, never the silent war that created it. One of the greatest advantages of silence is that it keeps your emotions from becoming public entertainment. Too many people expose every frustration online, every heartbreak, every anger, every disappointment. And in doing so, they give strangers power over their emotional state. But the Stoics believe dignity comes from self-mastery, not suppression. Mastery. There is a difference. Mastery means you feel deeply without becoming controlled by feelings. It means pain teaches you instead of destroying you. Silence helps you process emotions with wisdom instead of impulsiveness. You do not need to explain your growth to people committed to misunderstanding you. Read that again carefully. Some people have already decided who they think you are. No amount of explanation will change their mind. So why waste your energy trying? Silence frees you from the exhausting need to constantly defend your identity. Let people think what they want. Your life will answer them eventually. The Stoics understood that reputation is unstable because it depends on other minds. But character belongs to you alone. There is also enormous spiritual power in becoming less reactive to praise. Most people only talk about ignoring criticism. But praise can control you too. If you become addicted to compliments, you become emotionally dependent on external approval. Then your mood rises and falls based on public opinion. That is dangerous. The silent person learns to stay grounded whether praised or criticized. Their inner world becomes stable. And stability creates strength. Jung spoke deeply about individuation, the process of becoming your true self instead of the version society expects you to be. But individuation requires solitude. It requires silence. Because you cannot hear your authentic voice while drowning in everybody else's opinions. Most people spend their entire lives performing roles. Pretending. Adapting. Hiding. They become strangers to themselves. But silence strips away performance. Eventually, you begin hearing the deeper voice inside you, the voice that knows who you really are and what your soul actually wants. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone should accompany you into your next chapter. Some relationships only survive because you stayed small. The moment you begin changing, growing, becoming disciplined, people become uncomfortable. Your silence exposes their chaos. Your focus exposes their laziness. Your self-control exposes their emotional instability. And instead of growing with you, some people will resent you. Do not take it personally. Growth often creates distance. The hidden power of silence is that it helps you observe reality instead of fantasy. When you constantly speak, you become emotionally attached to your own narrative. But when you observe quietly, you notice what is actually happening. You notice who truly supports you. You notice who only appears when they need something. You notice who drains your spirit. Silence sharpens perception. And perception protects your future. There is a different kind of confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself privately. Not posting every workout. Not announcing every goal. Not broadcasting every plan. Just doing the work consistently. Quietly. Repeatedly. That kind of discipline builds self-respect. And self-respect is more valuable than temporary attention. Because when life becomes difficult, and it will, self-respect becomes the foundation that keeps you standing. Some of you listening right now are exhausted because you have been explaining yourself to the wrong people for too long. You have been defending your dreams to people who never had the courage to chase their own. You have been seeking understanding from people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop wasting your energy. Not every battle deserves your voice. Sometimes your silence is the loudest statement you can make. The Stoics believed suffering becomes lighter when ego becomes smaller. Much of human pain comes from wounded pride. The need to be acknowledged. The need to win arguments. The need to appear superior. But silence weakens the ego. And when ego loses power, peace enters your life. Suddenly you no longer feel compelled to react to every insult. You no longer need the last word. You no longer need everyone to agree with you. That freedom is priceless. There is a reason monks, philosophers, warriors, and great thinkers throughout history valued silence. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is training. It strengthens attention. It deepens awareness. It teaches patience. It reveals truth. And in a world addicted to distraction, the ability to sit quietly with your thoughts becomes a superpower. Imagine how different your life would become if you stopped announcing your next move and simply executed it. Imagine how much energy you would save if you stopped reacting to every opinion. Imagine how much peace you would feel if you no longer needed constant validation. This is the hidden success strategy nobody talks about. Silence is not passive. Silence is preparation. Silence is concentration. Silence is inner power gathering strength before action. People often confuse silence with weakness because they mistake loudness for confidence. But loudness is often insecurity wearing a mask. Truly strong people rarely need to prove they are strong. Their energy speaks before their words do. And once you understand this, you stop trying to dominate conversations. You stop competing for attention. You stop forcing your presence. You simply become grounded in yourself. The older you become, the more you realize that peace is more valuable than attention. Protecting your energy becomes more important than winning arguments. Solitude becomes more nourishing than shallow social approval. And silence becomes sacred. Because silence reconnects you to yourself in a world constantly trying to pull you away from yourself. Some people will only understand your silence after they witness your results. Until then, let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Let them assume you are doing nothing. Quiet growth confuses people addicted to performance. But remember this, trees grow in silence. The sun rises in silence. Strength develops in silence. And your greatest transformation will likely happen away from public eyes. There is also incredible emotional maturity in learning when not to speak. Not every truth needs to be said immediately. Not every opinion deserves expression. Wisdom is knowing the difference between necessary words and useless noise. The Stoics believed speech should improve silence, not interrupt it meaninglessly. Imagine how much conflict would disappear if people mastered that principle alone. Some of the most dangerous moments in life happen when emotions speak before wisdom. Anger destroys relationships. Pride ruins opportunities. Impulsiveness creates regret. But silence creates space for reflection. And reflection saves lives. A calm mind sees solutions that emotional minds cannot see. Jung believed that what you resist unconsciously controls you. That means if you constantly need attention, there is likely an insecurity beneath it. If you constantly need approval, there is likely fear beneath it. Silence forces those truths to surface. And while painful, that awareness becomes the beginning of freedom. Your future may depend less on what you say and more on what you consistently do in silence. Every disciplined morning matters. Every quiet sacrifice matters. Every moment you choose growth over distraction matters. Success is rarely built in dramatic moments. It is built in ordinary moments repeated consistently over time. And maybe that is why silence feels uncomfortable at first. Because silence removes distractions and reveals responsibility. Suddenly there is nobody left to blame. Nobody left to impress. It becomes just you and your choices. Just you and your discipline. Just you and your character. And that level of honesty transforms people. If this message is speaking to your soul right now, subscribe to the channel and join a community of people choosing discipline over distraction, wisdom over noise, and inner strength over empty validation. Your support helps this channel continue creating powerful content that transforms minds and strengthens spirits. At the end of the day, the world does not reward those who talk the most. It rewards those who endure the longest. Those who stay disciplined when motivation disappears. Those who remain calm under pressure. Those who continue building while others waste energy seeking attention. Silence helps create that endurance. One day, people will ask how you became so strong. They will wonder how you became so focused, so calm, so disciplined. They will assume there was some secret shortcut. But the truth will be simpler than they expect. You stopped seeking validation. You stopped reacting to everything. You stopped explaining yourself endlessly. You became comfortable working in silence while the world chased noise. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden inside both Jungian psychology and Stoic philosophy. Your power grows when your need for external approval disappears. Because once you no longer need applause, you become free. Free to focus. Free to grow. Free to evolve. Free to become dangerous in the most beautiful way possible, calm, disciplined, self-aware, and unstoppable. So move differently now. Protect your energy. Protect your vision. Protect your peace. Let your actions speak louder than your announcements. Let your discipline speak louder than your emotions. Let your results speak louder than your words. Go silent. And win big.